You know, Will, there's an attractiveness about Tea Party candidates that has virtually nothing to do with their political message. They just seem to be more colorful. They seem to be more interesting. They seem to have
it's the
more things
purity. It's the purity of their message. It's all good. You know, therefore, taking America back and we the people. It's not, but we the people always seems to be angry old white guys. You know, I mean, it's like when Glenn Beck went to Lincoln Memorial to reclaim the civil rights movement for loud, chubby, angry, rich white guys because they've been so discriminated against in American society. It was ludicrous, and yet it was treated as if it was an important, pivotal move.
No question it was covered that way.
Yeah.
In addition thereto, I think that that angry movement out there is fueled by much of the media. You just can't imagine, since we live here in San Francisco, we're not exposed full time to all of that angry media guys and gals 24 hours a day that misrepresent. I was on a show on Fox recently in New York in which the conversation was about obesity. And they were condemning to the hilt our friend, the Obamas, Mrs. Obama, for urging people not to overconsume. And it was amazing. Said, she can't tell us what to do. I said, I don't think that's the issue. I think she's talking about what she understands the health component to be based on what happens when we put it in our mouths. The government doesn't have business. She's not the government. She is no different from you. She is saying and sharing her knowledge. Why are you so vehemently opposed to her being able to share her knowledge? Well, I didn't take my cook to Martha's Vineyard. I said, obviously you didn't. Yeah.
What?
Well, I don't always get to sit at a luxury box when I go to a ball game, so what?
So it's amazing what the public out there absorbs from that kind of dialogue and how they can become fascinated and intrigued enough to reject rational people. Bennett, for an example, in Utah, got knocked out in the early. He was the first victim of this so-called Tea Party movement. Now here's a guy that's rated as the most conservative member of either house of the Congress. The most conservative member.
Yeah, but not
long term.
Not. That's right.
Long term.
In Utah, of all places. Here's a guy that's probably never
Solid
shaken
as
the
a
hands
church.
of a Democrat if there was no other hands to shake. Yet, he was not crazy. He was really rational in his thought processes, even though totally...
Didn't he vote for either the bailouts of... He voted for something. He actually crossed McConnell's no.
Occasionally he did.
River.
A very fair man. Senator
But he
Bennett.
was-
But it was
Bennett.
rational. It
Yeah,
wasn't...
it was-
no,
yeah.
no Democrat convinced him philosophically.
Right.
He thought it was good for his...
Made up his own mind about things. Met him at a radio convention. Really liked him a lot.
Well, but he got he got eliminated. It cost him his job. That
Voted off the island.
irrationality, I don't think yet translates into a majority, and that's why I do not believe that either the Senate or the House is going to fall in the hands
So
in
what's
this
the
election.
what's
in
the
this
Democratic strategy right now to tie the Tea Party to the neck of the Republicans?
This is like one of our bits, Will Durst, that we always used to do on our
What
morning
would
show
Willie
on
do?
Green
Yeah.
960. www.
I think the
What
Democratic.
would Willie D
I think
do?
I think that, and from Nancy Pelosi's perspective, she is a real practical, operational politician. She knows that it's one-on-one matchups. It's not philosophical. It's not party. It's not national. And so she is having all of her people campaign to the voters in the district, not to the voters that are answering Gallup's poll, not to the voters that are answering CNN's poll. She's having a campaign to the individuals. And so whatever the message that needs to be crafted to secure the seat, whether it's McNerney up in
Right.
that area, or whether it's Loretta Sanchez in the B1 Bomber District, or whether it's Costa, who voted with the health bill and the farmers are mad at him about it. She's really having each one of them stay
Craft
away
her own
from.
message.
That's right. Stay away from defending the symbol of the Democratic Party, but rather take care of themselves. And that's why I think that the national messaging will come in 212, not 210.
Well, a lot of stuff is murky, to say the least. As you know, it's clear as mud. Gallup did a poll a week before Labor Day, and they came out with registered voters. Who do you more align yourself with, Republicans or Democrats? And Republicans had a 10-point advantage. And people went crazy. And Democrats were avoiding Obama like he was a plate of haggis covered in botulism toxin. And Republicans were screaming Fox News was happening. Then the very next week, a week after Labor Day, a poll came out and put the Democrats and the Republicans, same people, Gallup, same question, and put them dead even, because Glenn Beck had just done his thing at the Lincoln Memorial, and maybe there was a little backlash against that. Maybe the kids had gone off to school, and people felt like, maybe things aren't as bad as they, because they were living with them. Or maybe Obama emerged from his vacation because he did that rally in Milwaukee on Labor Day, and then he went to Ohio, and he started talking about stuff that talked about people in their lives. He was talking in Milwaukee for the Labor Day thing. That's where he did the infrastructure, and then he was talking about the tax cuts for the businesses, for the reinvestment. So, I think having him out there and having him engaged is so important.
It is very, very important, but it's not natural for him, believe it or not.
But he was such a great campaigner.
Yeah, but he was a campaigner orchestrating for a central purpose, i.e., beat first Hillary and then beat McCain. And that was it. There was no other agenda. He is not comfortable just campaigning. He really does have to have some kind of an agenda attached to somebody or something. And he is not comfortable being a glad hander. He's not comfortable, hanging. It's amazing how successful he is, but how unprepared he is for ward politics.
We're going to have to cover more here in the second half. And in the second half, we'll get to state of California and local Bay Area and San Francisco politics. We'll have San Francisco public defender Jeff Adachi joining us,
oh, good.
Who also is the proponent behind the very controversial Proposition B. And we can talk about Proposition A while we take a little break here in between segments.
You always want to be nice to the public defender because you don't know when you're going to need his service.
Exactly. And it's the return of the Will and Willie Show, a pre-election special brought to you by the world-famous Buena Vista Cafe, the original home of the Irish coffee. And we'll continue in the second half after we take a brief pause for the cause here on Green 960.
Go with the flow. Flowstream.com.